It is, I don't know, some ungodly early hour, 6:30. Feeling kind of rough, so I need to wash. And in order to wash, we need water. Pulled the well pump out of the well yesterday. But it is a process. I have to shock the well, which I did. I have to verify that it is bacteria free. That I've got to figure out. I know I can order some tests and have them delivered, or I can go to Lowe's and get a test, which the nearest Lowe's is actually in Vermont. Or there's a local testing lab here that a buddy of mine recommended. I got to see how quickly they can turn the results around, but it's a 24 to 48 hour test, which means even if I got the pump in there and got it working, I couldn't drink the water until I knew it was bacteria free. So what do you do when you have a well but you can't use it and you get water at another source? This is how we've been getting water. This is an artesian well. I'll show it to you in a minute. Just got to make sure the road is clear before I get out of here. Get a water bottle. So, uphill from here, I'm assuming, there is a spring somewhere back up in there. And then this is essentially a spring box. The water comes down the hill, drops into the top side of this at the top end. Any sediment falls down to the bottom, and then probably halfway up this barrel is where the water is collected to come out this hose. It's constantly running year-round. It's about 45 degrees. It's brutally cold, and it's delicious. So let's get the other water bottle and get it filled. And just like that, water bags are full. These are collapsible. They hold about 5 gallons each. I've got 5 of them. We're missing the top on one of them for some reason, but 20 gallons of water has held us for, I don't know, 3 or 4 days for the 3 of us that are here right now. It'll be nice to get the well so we have water on demand. I didn't really need to fill these. We have 2 more back at the camp that are pretty much full. But I was going out anyway, and this is right around the corner, so why not fill these up? It's always good to have more water than less. But you can see this is not a public spot. It is literally just along the side of the road. You just need to know where it is. It is Friday, June 1st, 2nd, something like that. It's the first week anyway, and I'm tired. Setting up the tent, clearing the grass around here. I need to trim some more. Pulling out the old well pump, putting in the new well pump. Hooking up a shower yesterday. Not the full setup, but enough to get clean, which is nice because up until Thursday of this week I hadn't showered since Sunday morning. Just taking bird baths and getting clean that way, but getting pretty stinky. As you can see, it's not very stylish here in the woods, but it is enjoyable, and every change I make brings me closer to living up here. The well is massively deep, much more deep than we thought it was going to be. I thought it was a 125 to maybe 150 foot deep well. It was 400 feet deep. So we have pipe laying around the property. I can show that to you now. So the pipe wraps all the way up around that area up there. Now, mind you, I've cut off 125 feet of this pipe. This is the wire that was down in the well. That's all 12 gauge solid core wire, so it's heavy as heck. There's more hose pipe here and there and all over here. So I will keep this. It's in great shape, and I'll likely either coil it up and use it when I put a bigger pump back in the well when I have a house, or use it to refresh the spring that I have on the site. I love being out here in the mornings. Get this morning light streaming through the trees, and it makes really wonderful patterns on the ground. This is the approach. To what I like to call the tent mahal, because it's massive. But I don't want to crawl in and out of a little pup tent for the 3 weeks that I'm here. So this is where I'm staying. Pardon the socks. On June 2nd, 2023, in the central Canadian provinces of Ontario and Quebec, a series of wildfires began. By June 5th, just 3 days later, a combined total of 211 wildfires had been reported. 145 of these were considered to be out of control. Around 10,000 residents in Quebec were forced to evacuate their homes on June 2nd, and by June 4th, that total had risen to 14,000 due to concerns for air quality. From June 2nd to the time of this recording, over 40,000 hectares of land, or 98,850 acres, have burned. We were lucky. Other than some brilliant sunrises and sunsets and a scratchy throat, we did not have any adverse effects from the wildfires. I think this was due to the unique configuration of the mountains in our area. Being in the northeast corner of New York State, the eastern high peaks of the Adirondacks funnel the Canadian smoke south to central New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and points farther south. For those affected by the blaze, however, life was kind of like living on the surface of an alien world. The skies were orange and clouded with ash, and the moon and sun seemed distant and indistinct. As of June 2nd, 400 firefighters were working in Quebec and the surrounding area to fight the blaze. We hope that the firefighters are safe and that the residents of the area can return to their homes soon. Just want to give you guys an idea what it takes to go to the bathroom here. So we're heading to our rustic loo. This is why I have no problems getting steps while I'm here. I think yesterday I did about 6 or 7 flights of stairs. Just coming up and down, taking things back and forth from the storage area / bathroom. And there we are. Quite a bit of ways above the sleeping area. Time to get started on the bench. It's a mess right now. against the broom so I can clean this up a bit. This will all be neatened up and very usable, but for now, this is the job. Build a bench that goes across there, and that is where the potty is going to be. Now, if you remember my previous video about upcoming projects, I created a SketchUp diagram for this bench that I'm going to build. I'm going to try and put a card on here. If you haven't seen that video, I highly recommend you go back and check it out. It gives you a little bit of continuity to see what I was planning before I was even on the site and then what it actually turned into. I think most of my projects were pretty close. But you can see here in this diagram that I've got two walls on the ends to close in the ends to keep the chipmunks and squirrels and whatnot out. And then there's a central partition that stores the bucket. The two side pieces will be storage, and the central piece is strictly to keep the bucket stable and to give you a solid seating area. I think it turned out pretty well, but let's take a look at how the project went. I didn't get a whole lot of early stages of building this project, including the framing and the top of the bench. This was the first project that we did for obvious reasons when we got to the property, and so we were in a hurry to get it up and working. And then it went so smoothly that I just kept banging away at it. As I said in the previous video, we kind of jumped into this project work with both feet and didn't stop until a lot of these things were almost done. All right, this is the progress so far on the Louvre. Bench is in. This is made out of 2x4s and pressure treated plywood. Nothing really complicated. The center panel is fixed because that's where the toilet bucket is. You can see under here we've got a little stand that is tied directly into the floor joist with structural screws. So, and it's got 2x6 and 2x8 supports under it, so it is solid. And that holds the bucket for our little potty. And then we just basically framed out between these two walls, and I'm finishing it off here with some doors that are made over from the rest of the plywood from the 4x8 sheet. So there'll be another door over there, which I'm just finishing up putting hinges on here. This is just this sheet of plywood I ordered last year, and it was stored under my deck. So you see there's some mold and mildew on it. That's just because it got wet and was under the deck all winter. But it's actually still structurally sound. It didn't warp. Nice, good stuff. A shout out to Bryant's Lumber. If you're in the North Country and you want good lumber, these guys are great. They were reasonable. When I bought the lumber last year, I bought it at the height of the pandemic pricing, so it was crazy expensive. And they were very reasonable. They deliver within 2 to 3 business days. And they've got a ton of stuff. Their store in Port Henry is actually really cool. We went over and checked it out the other day. If I get back over there, maybe I'll take a video so you guys can see. But they've got pretty much everything under the sun that you would need, except for patio blocks. They don't have patio stones for some reason, but you know, whatever. So I'm going to throw this on. We've got a cabinet started on this side. We're going to have some shelving, and I have these waterproof totes that are about 13 inches that I store stuff in. They were up here in the shack last year. They worked out pretty well during the winter. The problem is the squirrels got into one of them, or a raccoon got the lid off or something. So we're building these shelves to be exactly 13 inches tall. The containers are about 12 3/4 inches. So there's not going to be any wiggle room. They'll have to drag the entire container out, and we may like screw a board across just for the winter, just to keep things in place so they can't get into the stuff. There's going to be a countertop on here. This sink that my brother found along the side of the road is in great condition. It's in perfect condition. So it's going to go in that corner. There is a big, it's either a very old pine or it's a very old oak that is standing dead at the base of the hill on my property. And it's got to be 20 inches in diameter. So I am going to try to fell that and slab it into 2-inch thick slabs. You can see we left a gap here of about 2 inches. And so I'm going to try and get a counter made out of chainsaw milled lumber from my property. And it's going to be a nice thick slab counter. So, and then we'll set the sink into that corner. So stay tuned. That's wasn't an expected project, but it is going to be kind of a bonus project that I'd like to do, because I got a ton of these standing dead trees and I got to get them down. They're not good for the forest, because if they fall over, then it's not controlled. And they're very, very dry. It's been super hot up here and we haven't gotten any rain. So standing dead wood is always a bad thing. It can lead to forest fires. So there's all sorts of reasons to take it down. Plus it's fun to use a chainsaw. But it will actually hopefully give me a really cool custom countertop made from lumber in my own property. So stay tuned. So this is another project for the shed. Closing in these gable ends. They're wide open. We plasticed them last year. Matt did a good job, and it kept the snow out, but we need something more permanent. So I've got a bucket of paint, like a dark green, gray paint that's going to go over this whole thing, and we're closing them up right now with boards. It's going to look like a brand new building. Okay, so here is what we've accomplished today and yesterday. We've built a frame and added some shelves. We're going to have a countertop here. And then here's the completed bench with storage. So you can put away all your supplies. This one over here opens up all the way. Once you take the little post out. Up all the way. And I know this is the wrong way to do a hinge, but I did it so that we could get it completely open so we can get stuff in and out without having to hold on to it. So now we have nice places to store stuff. And we have a little bench here to make it comfortable when you're sitting here and doing your business and looking out at the mountains. Oh yes, we also enclosed the gable ends. So no more plastic. This is all closed in with wood. And then very shortly there will be a fresh paint job on the outside of this as well. But this is a nice place to go do your nature's business in nature.